And this is a tendency of the tree to accumulate magnesium. So it's cosmetic in this. It's not going to impede the function of the tree because this growth is in this bud. And as we move to more and more seed orchard seed, we're finding that seed orchard seed is more sensitive to temperature. So that allows us to maximize germination and not have to use as much seed as we would in the past. So, and those 3 or 4 days are just enough time for those trees to adapt and change its metabolism in order to adapt to, because all of a sudden you have less light, but you can have a whole bunch more carbon dioxide in the air. The plant needs to realign itself in order to adapt to that. So what you're going to, as George mentioned, this is a Blue Ridge crop. This is one of your seed orchard seed lots.
Most they can do weekly is 1 centimeter a week. So we have to dissipate anywhere from 3 to 7 centimeters a week. That's how much good we can get here. So you gotta always plan that like 3 weeks ahead or something, because if you don't, you go from here to there in a short time.
Most of your seed comes from a Pretty Tree Seed Center. Although the primary difference, and we'll talk about that when we get to the lab, is that for the Alberta clients, we actually do the stratification in-house and the seed prep in-house, whereas for BC, it's done for us.
Oh, I see.
At the Surrey Seed Center. George has found a way with manipulating the environment and feed in order to produce this type of tree. So we're sort of the envy of the culp industry right now because we can do this. Not many people can do this, but we don't grow a lot of it. Like the demand isn't there because it's become unfavorable because of the blister rust. So even though this has been bred with blister rust resistance, it's not blister rust complete because you don't want it to be complete. So a lot of forest companies aren't planting white pine because they'll die out. They're trying to bring it back and requiring it at 10% stocking level in the Kootenay area, and we're ready to absorb that market when it comes. It's the soils from pathogens is going to probably be outlawed in the US pretty quick, so we are developing products that will be able to replace that market, and this is one of them. This tree was sown and grown at the same time as the other Doug fir. There's no difference. It's species and container. All our fertilizer forestry special blend is already pre-mixed for us. So the teams will manage the concentrations by adding diluted water to give us the right parts per million of nitrogen depending on when the tree, what stage of development the tree is. Like early on we want higher nitrogen. When we're shutting trees down we want to drop it. So just fertilizer injectors, and we apply our chemigation or our pesticides through these systems too. It's the best they could come with. And a 309 in the same 2.33 square feet will have 180 trees, and this one has 91 trees. So lower density trees allow for taller trees, more caliper, bigger trees. What I'm seeing here is that this is an A-class seed lot. The next seed lot down I would say would be a wild collection, just because it's a little shorter. And I really can't read the label from here, and I'm not going to get wet for you. I'm sorry.
West Fraser.
Yeah.
West Fraser M. Who?
Yeah, 100 mile.
100 mile.
Pudge Sweet Squid. Out of the greenhouse, we can apply poly on these to cover them, and we can bring them right into a controlled environment right through to the harvest. The trees come in, they get extracted. But yeah, she can put out between 600,000 and 800,000 trees a day. The team does. Like it's just amazing. So once the styro blocks are extracted, they'll come around this conveyor and the empty styro blocks will travel over here. They'll get a pre-wash to knock off the big debris. That's the garbage that we're seeing here. And then they go through a hot water dip tank. We need a minimum of 30 seconds at 85 degrees in order to kill any pathogens or root diseases or insect larvae. We actually go for 55 seconds at about 102 to 105 degrees, just to give that extra kill. So every block has then been sanitized, ready for the next crop. This is the garbage. This is root matter. That's needles, but roots and needles coming out. So, and of course our starting blocks, we'll call them. And of course we've got the garbage that we're constantly renewing. So we color code our labels, and you may already know this, based on the species that are going in the box. So if your pine will have a different color from the
I've never seen this machine before. So.
It's just a stapler. We have two types of staplers. We got the hand stapler that he's using there, and this is just another, just a different. We use for you folks are the solid bottoms, so we fold them in and there's no staples going in. So this is a cheaper box, but this meets, they don't do a lot of heli planting, so they can get away with.
I didn't realize.
You can open that door too.
That's alright. I didn't realize how big it actually is.
Yeah, there's a hodgepodge of stuff in here. Some of it's testing, some of it's some other truck. It's controlled between 3 to 5 degrees. We have probes in here that are attached to both our Delta monitoring systems and our Argus monitoring systems. So George will get alarms if it gets too warm in here. So the seed on this side is been re-imbibed with water, so it's been soaked and it's in stratification at this point in time. So managing seed lots is basically our entire job here. So we have processes in which we do that. So the original tag that comes with the dry seed is always on the seed lots. If it's in a single bag, it's attached to the top like that. If we have to split it into more bags because it's just too much per month, then every single bag will be labeled, for instance, like this. So the first bag will have the original tag, and then every single subsequent bag will have the order number, and then how many of each, 102 or 202, etc., and so forth. We use alternating colors when we have things in order.
This is very critical and very important for us to get this done quickly. And every box has a face that is exposed to the cool air, and so all the heat loss will come out through that face that's exposed. Yeah. So here's your 309s, packed, stored, ready to go. So when David tries to load the rooms based on the order that they're going to go out, based on the planned delivery schedules that I've received from our clients. So this is Miller Western in Whitecourt for Brent Huizinga.
Okay, yeah.
And then your black spruce here. This is a part box. So in these boxes, it's very important for them to be folded, not allow any air in because you can freeze dry the trees. So you actually have to fold them over and fold them over to have a seal because they'll freeze or burn the tree. But there's your black spruce that you're going out with you next year. See it, feel how the plug is crispy? So
Yeah.
it's well on its way to being frozen and
Yeah,
held.
for sure.
But we never expose the trees to anything below -3. And because you can have root damage with temperatures going below -8. So once we freeze them down, they'll hold here for the next 4 to 5 months. This is a product that we're shipping to another cold storage for the Colville Indian Band tribe. Let's just step out of the way so we don't become a casualty. So we're going to